Today, we're getting into one of the wildest, most dramatic rise and fall and rise again stories in all of Hollywood history. We're talking about the one and only Ingrid Bergman.
And who better to sum it all up than the woman herself? This one quote from Ingrid Bergman, wow, it perfectly maps out the absolute roller coaster her life was in the eyes of the public. It's just an incredible journey. Okay, so to really get how big of a deal her fall was, you first have to appreciate the insane heights she reached. Before all the drama, Ingrid Bergman wasn't just another movie star. She was practically an icon, a Hollywood saint. I mean, think about it. On one side, you have this Oscar-winning superstar from huge classics like Gaslight and, of course, Casablanca. Life magazine talked about her new brand of charm. She was famous for this really natural, wholesome beauty. She wouldn't pluck her eyebrows or get her teeth capped like everyone else. And then on the other side, almost overnight, she's going to be denounced, hated, and pretty much exiled. So what on earth could cause a change that massive? What was the big catalyst? You might think it was some horrible crime or a huge political scandal, but no. It all started with a simple, almost innocent letter that was really just about professional admiration. So, by the late 1940s, Bergman was honestly getting a little tired of the Hollywood glitz and glamour. She was craving something more real, more authentic. And then she saw this raw, incredibly powerful Italian film called Rome Open City, and she just knew she had to work with its director, Roberto Rossellini. So she sat down and wrote him this letter, which is now pretty legendary. It's just so charming, isn't it? She's basically pitching herself for a job, even making a little joke about how the only Italian she knows is "Ti amo," I love you. This one letter would kickstart not just a movie, but a love affair that would scandalize the entire world. And when that affair went public, oh boy. The fallout wasn't just whispers and gossip columns. It was a massive explosion of moral outrage. It echoed all across the country, reaching all the way to the halls of the U.S. government. And the context here is everything. Remember, this is 1950. Both Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini were married to other people, and they both had kids with their spouses. So when Bergman got pregnant with Rossellini's child while they were still married to others, well, the scandal just became an international firestorm. The public fury got so intense that it actually became a political issue. I'm not kidding. A U.S. Senator from Colorado, Edwin C. Johnson, literally stood up on the floor of the Senate and formally denounced her. This was just an astonishing move that humiliated Bergman and basically forced her into a 7-year exile from Hollywood. And the words he used, they are just staggering to hear today. He didn't just disapprove of her actions. He called her a powerful influence for evil. Think about that. It was this total moral condemnation that just perfectly captures the super rigid social climate of 1950s America. This was a time when on-screen morality was policed and public figures were expected to be perfect role models. All right, so let's fast forward 7 years. After a long, tough exile making films in Europe, Hollywood finally came calling again. And the role they had for her, it wasn't just any part. It felt like it was tailor-made for her big return. The movie was Anastasia. It tells the story of this woman with amnesia who just might be the long-lost Russian Grand Duchess. And you have to remember, at the time, the real-life mystery of what happened to Anastasia was still a hot topic, which gave the whole film this incredible sense of myth and possibility. And this is where the casting was just pure genius. You see the parallel, right? In the movie, the character Anna is desperately seeking validation to be accepted as the real Anastasia. And in real life, Ingrid Bergman was basically seeking forgiveness and acceptance from the American public. Her performance, it wasn't just acting, it was like a public plea. So the stage was set for one of the greatest comeback stories Hollywood has ever seen. The film was a hit, critics were praising her performance, but the biggest question of all was still hanging in the air. Would the public, and more importantly the industry, truly forgive her? And the answer? For her incredible tour de force performance in Anastasia, Ingrid Bergman won her second Academy Award for Best Actress. Just like that, the exile was officially over. You know, this Oscar was so much more than just a trophy on a mantelpiece. It was a huge symbolic gesture. It was Hollywood's way of publicly saying, all is forgiven, welcome back. Which leaves us with this really fascinating question, doesn't it?
Ingrid Bergman's big comeback role was in a movie all about the power of myth. Her own career was nearly destroyed and then totally resurrected by the power of public perception, which is its own kind of myth. So what do you think? Was her journey a true story of redemption, or is it maybe a cautionary tale about how quickly we build our heroes up just to tear them down and then maybe build them all over again?